Hello, welcome. Today we are going to be talking about the top 5 working capital myths. Now, there are a lot of people that money is a very intimidating topic for them, especially when it comes to business. So we're going to dive into, from a high level, what these myths are and kind of what the reality and the truth is. So let's go ahead. Let's get started. If you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help you create the business of your dreams. And that's what this channel is all about. So please subscribe or like if you are a small business owner, or if you know somebody, please feel free to share this link with those so that I can help them as well. I look forward to making sure that you can grow and develop into the business that you're looking for. So the number one working capital myth is that you need more of it. And the truth is most people just want more. They think they've plateaued, but rather than squeezing the last penny or the last dime out of something, they think that more money will get them where they're needing to be versus just managing their money correctly. And that's really what it's about as far as like managing money and making sure that you have the capital that you need in order to grow. So you need to take a look at your finances and see if this is a need or a want. And when it comes to that, I can't answer that question for you, but it's important that you recognize that when you're looking for additional money and ways to save, there's 2 ways to do it, really. There's make more of it, or there's spend less of it. Now, sometimes you can get away with spending less, and other times you do truly need more money for something. And sometimes it's time is money, right? Anything that can save you time, that's a way to actually save money, especially when time mounts up. If something takes you, hours and hours and hours to do, then you're going to want to make sure that you're putting your money into saving you time to give you the most options possible. The key here is that you're paying attention to your budget, you're paying attention to your funds, and making sure that people are doing what they need to do within your company to help you build. Because doing more with less only gets you so far. And that's really why you have to be careful with what you're spending your money on, and make sure that you're frugal but not stingy, I think is the best way of saying it. That's number one. Number 2, a myth is that you have to be in business for a long time in order to get additional capital. Here's the reality. You need to be in business long enough for you to see that that it's serious. Okay, you need to be in business long enough for there to be some what's called sweat equity. Okay? If you have no plan and you haven't started, or you've started and you're just barely touching the tip of the iceberg on your funds or on your on your business, if you haven't put the proverbial skin in the game, most investors are going to stay away from you because it's an unproven idea. And not only is it unproven, but if you're not willing to put your own money and or your own time and effort into where it needs to be, then you can't expect others to do it as well, right? That's the big factor that when it comes to that. So you don't have to be in business a long time, depending on the capital. Like for instance, the SBA requires, I believe it's 2 years is the minimum for it. You need to have your profit and loss statements and all of the different things that you need from the SBA to get most of the additional capital. So keep that in mind. It depends on who you're going for. And if you're a true small business like a sole proprietor, you're limited to typically debt financing anyway. And debt financing is more is harder to get because of where you're at, especially if you're a sole proprietor, which is why I generally recommend some sort of business entity such as an LLC or a corporation if you're ever going to get investors, because you need to start yesterday to start building up that income and that capital, that business capital, business, I should say credit, if you will, in order to eventually get to the credit point, in order to qualify for credit. So that's number 2. Another myth is that all you need is a good idea. And unfortunately, shows like Shark Tank are a bad representation of this, because they're going on there with the intent they don't always have a good product. Or if they do have a good product, they haven't got their work behind it. They don't have a lot of equity themselves, because at that point, the company's worthless. Without revenue, without work, without all of these different things, your company's worth zero, right? I mean, it's nothing of nothing. And so you need more than just a good idea. You need solid execution. Okay, you need something more than just an idea. And the reason for that is simple, is because lots of people have ideas, but people have a hard time executing. And you need to make sure that you're executing as well as your ideas are. And sometimes that means bringing on somebody else to execute while you are the idea maker. And other times that you just have to do it yourself. You need to make sure you're doing what you can do to build your business. The next myth is that you can't bootstrap your way to success. And I'm going to list off a couple of well-known companies that all bootstrapped to begin with. And one was Apple. They're worth $1 trillion+ at this point. Microsoft, also worth quite a bit. Coca-Cola, Dell Computers, Hewlett Packard, Marriott, Nike, UPS. They all started out bootstrapping. And bootstrapping is just a simple way of using the funds that you have without requiring outside capital. Now, eventually, you're going to get to that critical mass point. And that critical mass point is, and I can't answer this for every business or each individual. I can only say that there's critical mass where you can't progress further in your market without investors or without additional money. That's when you want to apply. That is when you want to move into the investment and start looking for angel investors, potentially getting into venture capital. And this is all part of the process, right? This is all part of you growing as a company. You want to make sure that you are using your resources as wisely as possible, because a business that is bootstrapped their way to success has significantly more value than someone that has not. And here's why. Because if you own 100% of something and you go to add investors to it, then all of a sudden your interest may be worth less, depending on the situation, and there's lots of factors. But the idea being that most of these investors are going to want equity in exchange for their capital. And that's okay. That's okay. But the real problem is that people try to get to this too soon. They always try to get, investors or partners too soon, and they end up regretting it. And it ends up hurting them and potentially putting them out of business, not because they didn't have a good idea. It's that they just executed it too quickly. So bootstrapping helps you to prove your idea and helps you to give the idea and that the validity of the market. The market says it's a valuable product or a valuable service. And so when you bootstrap, you're really just the refiner's fire of it, as opposed to getting lots of money and hoping that helps, that works. In fact, that's one of the reasons why some of these businesses are so successful, is because they started out bootstrapping and they learned how to do things more with less. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't do something, but just keep in mind there's a lot of times where you spend money on things that may not actually benefit you towards building your brand, where the real money is. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this. And last, but certainly not least, is that all you need is a business plan to get investors. The reality is you need everything to get investors. You need a business plan. You need to put your own sweat equity into it. You need to have been in business for a little while. You need to have bootstrapped, because these are all the ways that you are showing the world that, and showing investors, right, to get the capital, that not only are you serious, but you're in it for the long haul. Now, does that mean that you're absolutely going to win or that you're absolutely going to be successful? No. But the idea being that If you've put this energy and time into it, people, the investors and people that are looking for to invest, are going to have a substantially more inclination to invest, because they're going to see that not only what's in it for you, but most importantly, what's in it for them. Investors want to know what's in it for them. And you need to focus on what's in it for them, not what's in it for you. So that should be how you create your business plan. That should be when you're pitching investors. That's what you need to do, is find out what's in it for the investor or the venture capital. So if you've gotten value out of this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and don't forget to hit the bell so you know when I'm going live every week. And we will see you next time.